November the 23rd. I just want to give a little update here concerning Israeli-Ukrainian military defense operation, something I have published about. Israel made more money inside of this room through this case than it did in the history of the Israel with entire Israeli trade. Whatever they were trading, whether they were trading diamonds or merchandise, Israel made more money through the military trade inside of this room, inside of this Novo Mesto, inside of this house, inside of this Novo Mesto room, here inside of this house, than it did in entire history of the Israel through the trade of diamonds, watches, whatever the hell they were trading. You understand? This is why this video. And I see a progress here between Ukraine and Israel. I see a tremendous progress in military cooperation. And now this progress is basically limited to a news that's coming out of Ukraine. And there is nothing but a positive news that's coming from Ukraine in respect to Israeli assistance to Ukraine. Nothing but positive news. I've not seen anything but whatever Ukrainian side, and for Zelensky side, have instructed me to see things as. I don't see nothing other but MK Ultra news in respect to but actually I don't see anything. I don't actually see any kind of Israeli assistance to Ukraine. It's actually completely non-existent, with exception to whatever Vladimir Putin personally have approved to Benjamin Netanyahu, to the Israeli side inside of this room, right in front of me. And that concerns basically machine guns, production of machine guns in Ukraine, Israeli designed machine guns in Ukraine, and also a junk, not really junk, but armored vehicles for which Vladimir Putin claimed, deemed it's okay to be given to Ukrainian side because they will make no difference on a war field anyhow. That's why this video here. Other than that, I don't see shit. I don't see anything other than what I stated. And I call the Israeli state to disclose how much money you have made inside of this room. I was your slave for 28 years. You grew Israeli state into a world superpower. You're not discriminated against. You're not victims. You victimized me. You enslaved me for 28 years. So I call you to disclose how much did you just sell to Russians and also to others inside of this room. Your assistance to Ukraine is bullshit as of today. Still, it remains this way. And let me make myself clear to Israel, even if you're going to give assistance, military assistance to Ukraine, you will disclose exactly how much money you have brokered inside of this room, why I had to engage in a hatred against Israel. You're gonna explain why you have incited in anti-Semitism. This is to the state of Israel. You're gonna explain how much money you brokered, how much money you made inside of this room, why slavery, why anti-Semitism are such important issues for the existence of the Israel. You, Israel, are gonna explain how you fucked up 28 years of life, how you turned 28 years of my life into hell. You're gonna explain this to the world. You will explain this to the world. All right, they haven't done shit. Anyhow, if you I don't know how to say. There is nothing really. There is. There is shit. There is nothing. I'm gonna show you on an Android how they do a massage on my brain, so that you're gonna see basically the news that is delivered to me based on my ISP and modified telephone, so that you get an idea basically what they massage me with. Because there is no sense to even go over what you guys get to see, because I think your picture is completely different from the picture I get served, and on Android and on laptop and so on and so forth. The only thing I have seen so far okay, let's see this. There you go. So this is the Israeli assistance to Ukraine. This is a rifle. You can see here that is made in Ukraine now, but I understand this is a really Israeli designed rifle. What exactly are the Israeli designed rifles? Basically, this is this thing here. This is what this is. They get from the West technology, everything, and then they produce this regionally inside of their country. This is, for instance, in Croatia, what is being produced and literally obtained also through this case. But this is just an example so that you get to know how things operate, how things work really in the real world behind the curtain. So this was the news. They anticipated they're going to brainwash me. They're going to remind me. You know, Zelensky says that he's going to remind me. It's going to remind me, not against Israel, not against Israel. It's going to remind me. It's going to remind me. Nobody went against the Israel. I supported the Israel. But there's one thing I'm not going to support. I'm not going to support bullshit that came from the top of Ukrainian state in respect to Ukraine. I am not going to support a lobby, special favors given to special politicians, which combined have ruined me 28 years of life. Basically have ruined me as a slave, so they were able to sign contracts inside of this room based on what I stated. Fuck this. Zelensky's not a poor guy like he claimed. This is actually a multi-millionaire. Yeah. Other than that, I've not seen anything. No. I've not seen anything. The only thing I have seen is access appears is denied to me. The only thing I've seen, if this is a fucking news here, that if Russia will continue to obtain missiles from Iran, Ukraine will be given a high-tech missiles. If this is assistance, the only thing I'm going to say is this is the reality that goes on. So I really do not understand this kind of. All of them were involved in MK Ultra. Every one of them was involved in MK Ultra. This is what they wanted from me to sponsor. This. Israel demanded, they brought me here. Israel demanded, God knows how many fucking times they brought me in this park here. Glorification of the Israel. The unconditional licking of the feet of the Israel, regardless of death, that Israel have in return scattered all over the world. Israel demanded slavery, 100% compliance with a slavery on my end. That's what Israel demanded. Israel claimed that I need Israeli citizenship by engaging in crime against me with the Slovenian police, with the Serbs, with the Chetniks, with Slovenian police also hosted next to Israelis in Slovenia, because according to the Israelis, to the Jewish state, Slovenia no longer will exist, as is evident. Now, you see, you need a citizenship. You are not worthy to suffer like this. You need something. You are strong. You need to identify yourself with something. You deserve better. And the better would be Israeli citizenship for me. Revolvers on my forehead, death threats for 26 years, eventually 28 years. Also through the media, they reminded me through the news on how to see things as or will be assassinated and so on. So it will be, if, that's why I say F, if is F. Except for one thing, I am no Israeli slave. That's what Israel is very terribly wrong about this. And I am not going to be Israeli slave. This is what Vladimir Putin personally, you understand me? This is what Vladimir Putin, Canadian shield, how Ukrainian defended, This is what Vladimir Putin, made in Israel, armored vehicles, personally approved inside of this room. He gave a green light personally inside of this room. Personally, he gave a green light for this. Vladimir Putin gave the green light to the Israelis, what they are allowed, and what not. And up to date, I don't see anything about any kind of Israeli solidarity with Ukraine, with the people of Ukraine. Not a little bit. I see a lot of cover-up, I see a lot of lies, but I don't see a single shit, I don't see a single thing that would suggest me that Israel have done shit for Ukraine. This, basically what we see. This is a reality. The ultimatum you see right there. And this ultimatum is based on a Western technology. It's based on a NATO technology which was given to the state of Israel. Further did Benjamin Netanyahu claim to me, if he gets a hold of some kind of NATO technology, I don't know what kind of technology that would be, if he would get that, before something else would happen, he would possibly, if I would talk, very likely if I would talk against Israel, and I'm not talking against the Israel, I speak truth, so I be judged for telling the word true. In case that Israel get that technology before I don't know what, in fact, he will go and even openly support Russia in war against Ukraine. You understand? That's what Benjamin Netanyahu's words were. He aligned himself with a few other politicians, which are these days sending, it's too pitiful for me to even address these politicians with issues of any kind, because it would do nothing other than problems for them. Enough, I already have problems. And important is to acknowledge who is creating a problems, who ruined my world, who ruined my life, and why. I have not seen any of this yet. Yeah, okay. Interesting. I know this is a very, very sensitive issue I'm talking about. The issue I cannot even access the blogger, as you see. Somehow it doesn't give me the chance for me to eventually access a blogger. The thing is that Zelensky is doing exactly what he told me he would do. And I'm going to say to you, even that there is a 36 people here wounded, there's been a lot of people killed. Situation was worse than this. None of this stuff have happened. Zelensky threatened me if I would be talking against the Israel. He will call the UN Assembly. And between his blah, 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 blah discussion, sideline my case, call basically for my case to be sidelined, to be pushed aside, delayed, and so on and so forth. So, you know, this individual here, I have a problem with him. One way or the other. The Ukrainian top has a real problems. If you want to talk about assistance, about the military assistance, who gave what? and the crucial importance in this war was when what was given, then you have to look to the countries that gave a little bit more than a little machine gun and armored vehicles, which eventually Vladimir Putin gave green light for the state of the Israel to be presented to the world as a neutral state, and further even as someone who gave military assistance, help to Ukraine. The Israeli military assistance to Ukraine was a bullshit. It was nothing. It made no fucking sense. It's a fuck up. It's a theft foremost. And it needs to be addressed as such. It needs to be condemned as such. Israel is a number one Russian collaborator. Israel was dealing with Vladimir Putin. Israel was making money, earning money through the coming war in Ukraine for over 22 years. 22 years plus. 25 years. Israelis started the violence against me in the United States of America as early as in 1995, 1996. They started the Vladimir Putin's game. They were the one. They were the promoter of the violence against me. Now, as far as the Israel, I will continue to support Israeli politics, not because of Israeli state, but because of allies which really matter, which really did make the difference on a map of Ukraine as it's seen today. Now, Ukraine is in a big way missing a territory, and I already see somebody like a Boris Johnson pointing finger at various countries for not delivering assistance to Ukraine, such as Germany, France, disbelieve, and so on and so forth. You can read about that news, and it's something I'm going to say, all right? I'm going to actually address that issue as fine. It's nothing wrong when you start talking about the stuff I have spoken about. The thing, however, is that maybe France and Germany didn't even know how to see things as eventually were compelled to settle for some politic that dictated them the way, whether they liked it or not, because, you know, France and Germany are more part of the continental Europe than what Great Britain is, which has a global, rather, interests involved in it. Not so much for the sake of continental Europe, for the sake of the continental stability in Europe, for the sake of European security. But I'm going to tell you all, folks, you need to appreciate those because of whom you still exist. You need to work closely with those that gave you support. And for the European Union member states, I'm just gonna say, when it comes to the global politic, make sure that the roof over your head is not gonna burning flames before you concentrate on other issues. Because when it comes to the Baltic states, Poland, Ukraine, that is, in a big way, that roof I'm talking about. There is no necessity, there's no need to jeopardize a roof for the sake of something that caused you harm for centuries, that pushed the world in the wrong directions, whether that be for Imperial Russia or for the Soviet Russia, it always was a problem, one way or the other, and that problem will remain a problem. That problem will remain a problem. I can tell you that problem will remain a problem because I have seen King Charles meeting South African President Cyril Ramaphosa. So I can tell you that, I'm going to tell you to European Union member states that the problem with Russia is not going to be solved. Just as Vladimir Putin searched for his way out through investments, through the recent investments to Africa, there's somebody else that is looking for his way out too. And as I stated, Ukraine was not liberated yet at this point in time. Liberated in a big way is, in a major way, mostly, Ukraine remains occupied. Small portions of Ukraine were liberated, but those portions of Ukraine that were liberated are completely in line with the Vladimir Putin's pencil which he had drawn on the map inside of this fucking room. You understand? So there's no, it's nice that Boris Johnson is a friend of Ukraine, because this is what I do. I do like to see Germans, French, British, Spanish, Italians in Ukraine. I do like to expand Ukrainian symbiosis with countries that support its existence to greater extent, to the pro-European, European freedom-based economy. That's my idea. This is what this is all about, because this is about your fucking roof. This is something I had bitched you already in 1995 to not jeopardize. That's what this shit is about. Rather than to go and reach out for some special interests, for some lobbyists, into the areas of already very well known and of what is becoming more and more and more evident the case is with Russia. Soviet Union, come on, wake the fuck up. So that's all I wanted to say for this video. I hope I did stress the issues. Here's the time update, everything. Is it? It's probably not. Israel up to date did not apologize any kind of support, any kind of, nowhere even fucking near any kind of military support for Ukraine. Absolutely not anywhere near. Now, Benjamin Netanyahu was very well prepared. He got certain politicians he used to promote himself. That's basically known as a sale of Ukraine. They are trying to sell Ukraine. Listen, when it comes to Zelensky, this is my message to you, Zelensky. I will continue to watch whatever you do. You did not apologize. From my point of view, sir, you definitely have not apologized. But not because of this thing here. Not because of this thing here. Not because it would be this thing here. You know? Not because it would be... This isn't about because you called a session at the United Nations, just as you told me you would, so that you would address, next to the issues in Ukraine, my issue and further sideline me. No, this is not because of this. This is about something else, Mr. Zelensky. This is about your personal views on some other issues that you shouldn't have worried about and it's other things that you should be worried about. As far as I'm concerned, Boris Johnson is a great friend of Ukraine. Boris Johnson, let me explain to you something, sir. Let me explain to you who Boris Johnson is. Boris Johnson was in 1995 nobody in a term of politics. I don't even know if this guy was a politician of any kind in 1995. But it was somebody I liked in Britain. Somehow that that's what I was told, that he was selected based on my preference, because I just somehow clicked with him and he clicked with me and became an MK Ultra staff member at large. And that's how his career took off. His career did took off through the British Royals. I gotta be honest with it. And this is not against, absolutely not against the British. This is for the sake of the Scottish trade, for the sake of social, economical expanding of relationship between the Scots, between the British English with Ukraine, which I always was the one who was doing this kind of stuff. That's what this is about. Now, I cannot relate myself at this point in time. I cannot relate myself, and you wouldn't either if you were in my situation, to some sort of issues that are based upon claims that I'm not giving any fucking credit to any of these politicians, and that includes Zelensky, for whom, to me personally, I'm not going to say became evident to me, until the Ukraine is liberated. You understand? Until every fucking centimeter of Ukraine is liberated. And I see Ukraine lined up completely with the West, expanding socio-economical relationship with one. Meaning to see Ukrainian people in the Western Europe, inside of the universities, inside of the factories, until I see Germans and Britons and French and Italians and Spaniards married in Ukraine, helping Ukrainians to develop their industry. I am not gonna fucking stop doubting any of you, any politician. This is about the roof of European Union. This is about the biggest European state, square mile wise or kilometer wise. It's 45 million people. It's not that much, but this is an area that offers a tremendous potential, a tremendous security potential, which, if you ask me, if it's properly developed, if it's properly developed, can provide a real miracle in terms of stability, in terms of prosperity for the European Union member states. This is by far the most important, maybe even when comparing to European Union members already, state. This is a roof. This is a real roof of the European Union that must not be set aside because of special interests. So I'm not easy, not even on Boris Johnson's claim. And Boris Johnson knows that I like him. He knows that I always liked him, that I always was supportive toward Boris Johnson. I think that Boris Johnson is a cool person. We need cool people that are humane, that like to interact with different cultures, with different people, that want to do business, basically. You understand? That's what the fuck we need. When it comes to the special interests that some, definitely, are trying to establish, let's just make sure that the roof over the head doesn't burn, doesn't go up in flames before it's too late. Every meter lost in Ukraine is a meter lost of German, of British, of French, of Italian, of Spanish land. You got to understand, this is your roof, this is your place where you want to go to vacation, with whom you want to do business with whom you want to partner, with whom you want to develop relationship, and which of course wants to be part of you, wants to work with you. So I wouldn't take this shit lightly in absolutely any way, and absolutely not give credit to somebody who have done nothing but harm to Ukraine, and on the other hand, set aside, sideline basically, stuff that really matters. As of today, Israel have not done nothing for Ukraine. I will continue to support Israeli state in respect to its stance, but only due to allies, due to European Union allies, due to NATO allies, due to United States, due to Canada, and so on. Other than that, I cannot relate to the Israeli state. Israeli state used me as a slave for no less than 28 years. Israeli state made through me, literally using me, more money than it did the combined entire Israeli industry. These are the words literally of Benjamin Netanyahu. These are the words of the top Israeli government. These are not even my words. I'm repeating the words right now. Because it was bullshit. Because it was hell. Because it was all kinds of stuff that grew up in the heads of the Israelis. Once they get the money, they don't know anymore anything. They don't know anything anymore, where the money came, how, this and that. Yeah, so I'm going to remind you of who the fuck I am. That's all I want to do for this video, and I'm really not happy about it. As for Vladimir Zelensky, yes, you at the United Nations have your fucking meeting. Go for it, man. Tell whatever the hell you want.